Hello, everyone. Happy Saturday night. I figured since we're not doing FFIB, I would hop on and sharpen some stuff that I've been putting off sharpening. Cool. Hey, everyone. Who do we got with me tonight on this little sharpening adventure? Yo, Facebook user. Gotta enable StreamYard so I can see who you are, but thank you for joining me. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. All the coins are gone. I was a very big fan of how that went. Lasted for a few days. Everyone who wanted one had a chance to get one, and they came with a fun little surprise that I was unaware of. Those little stickers. That was fun. Enjoy it. So I'm gonna throw some edges on some knives I got for customers. This first one is really cool. It is a Rex 45 Shaman. And it's got the nub delete, it looks like. And it's got Aramis 3D classic scales, which I love. Nope, these are Aramis tactic scales. Cool knife. So let's throw an edge on it. Chamois cloth. This is well used. It's usually this color. And I've used this one so many times that it's absorbed a lot of metal dust. But put that on the spine of the knife. I'm going to clamp it right up there. Lightly. Tighten down both slightly. Start with 150 grit. This is where I always start my edges at. Yo, what up? But I can reprofile pretty much anything with this 150. I have an 80 grit stone as well that I use for chips and broken tips. It's very aggressive. But this is good for getting heels out. It's got a good, nice profile. It's aggressive enough, and you'll see. It does great. So pop that in here. Marker on the edge. Marker on the edge. On Spyderco's, I always sharpen to 17 degrees unless whatever's existing is obviously not 17 degrees. But I always start there. We'll zero the cube. Okay, we're right on. Now we're going to see what the Sharpie looks like. But who do we got now? Got Mr. Wade with us. Hello, Carl Maxwell. Good evening to you as well. So make sure. So right now, this is as far as my stone will go up because I have this little collar right here. This is called stop collar. If you're sharpening with a guide system, make sure you have some form of a stop collar to keep your knife from going up on top of the blade face. I can't count how many times I've read posts of people saying they scratched their knife, and it must be because diamond particles fell off of the stone and mysteriously scratched everything. Well, it's because you rode your stone up on the face. It's just that's what happens. I've done it. Stop collars are important. Make sure you're using one though. So always check that before I start a knife is make sure it's set to where I need to be set. And since I do mostly Spyderco's, it doesn't move a ton, but just something to check. Okay, now I'm going to check to see how much Sharpie it's removing. Nope, I'm going to tighten it down a little bit more. Line it up so the stone is parallel with the flat grind. Stone, flat grind, totally parallel. Tighten down. Check it side. So this side looks like it's hitting on the top of the bevel, and on the other side it's hitting on the bottom of the bevel, on the leading edge. So that means we're somewhere in the middle of where we're supposed to be. So we're at 17 degrees on average. So we're just going to say that's 17, and we're just going to profile it so it makes it 17. It doesn't take too long. Working the tip. Make sure it's all flush. I forgot to check what kind of edge this knife is going to get. A little loose. In order to do the heel, to do heels, you just need stones that have a square corner and only grit on the bottom face, like these stones do. You just kind of sit there, scrub away. The sharpener or my son in the background? Probably my son in the background. He's making lots of noise. What up, Dan? Okay, so now we're going to look at the edge. We've removed most of the Sharpie except for at the very tip. We have some work to do. And this is pretty common. The tip will have to be extra ground on to get the full bevel. So we can make it a mirror. So one thing I do when I'm working on a tip like this is I'll take my index finger from my left hand and put it underneath here so it doesn't roll. It's not like you're going to grind your finger off. Can't really feel it. But it keeps your stone flat. And so I'm just working the very tip on this one because the top half of the bevel still has Sharpie on it, which means the angle is too high right there. It's really, really common on Spyderco's to have this issue. So check it out now. pretty good. Oh, snap. So, this side, their heel's looking pretty good. Don't try to get the heel on the first pass, but it's almost done. So we're going to flip it. Same thing. We've got Sharpie on the edge, and we're going to reprofile it until it's all gone. So the tip looks good. Came right off. At the right angle for the tip. So just working the whole edge, making sure all the Sharpie's gone. This edge was closer to what we were starting at on the angle. It was closer to 17. Now we're just going to clean it up, make sure all the little low spots and anything else get hit. Work the heel. Okay, let's see how our edge looks. A little more work on the heel, but otherwise it's good. Just knock this out. Okay, I'm going to flip back to the first side. Check. We have a burr, a very distinctive burr all the way from the tip to the heel. So that means we hit the apex on that side, which meant hitting the apex means hitting the tippy tip of the edge. And right now, since we were on that side, we curled an edge over like that. Little metal particles, and curl it over called the burr. And that means we've sharpened the whole edge on both sides. And so now we're going to remove the burr, minimize it, clean up any little deficiencies I have, flip it back over and do it again. And then we'll be done with the 150 stone, which is the main bit of the work. Okay, now we're going to check our edge out, see if we're done with our heel. Looks done. Let's do a couple more strokes on the heel. Okay. Back to this side with 150. Kill the burr off and clean up the heel a little bit more. switch to 400 grit stone. And honestly, these two stones are all you really need to do an edge. If you're just trying to get sharp, this gets very sharp. You flip back to the original side. I always start on this side so I can keep track of where I'm at. So I always start on the presentation side and end on clip side. And then when I'm done, the screws are right there. And so I know where I'm at. Easy to lose track of how many flips you're doing and how long you've been working a side. It's really easy to get lost in your head working a side for just forever. So you got to be kind of conscious of it and take a break and flip it over and come back later sometimes. Okay, that's all we're going to do. Just a couple quick passes with the 400. Okay, 400 grit done. Now, here's where I have a decision to make, and I don't know if it really matters as much as I think it does, but sometimes I stop here and I strop it with 1 micron, or sometimes I go and I choose the 800 grit stone, and it minimizes the amount of stropping I have to do, and it makes it a little bit shinier. So I feel like I kind of like the 400 grit edges the way it bites, but since this is a customer knife, I'm going to make it look a little bit nicer and do an 800 grit edge. So now we're just killing the burr from the 400 grit. We're just going to really lightly polish this. I'm not chasing a mirror. I'm just wanting everything to be like uniform looking on the edge. Have a nice satin appearance that's consistent from tip to heel. Same direction strokes. Same direction. Looks nice and even. That's all we're going to do. So it's the 800 grit premium half-stone CBN, cleaning up 400 grit edge just with 1 pass. We're not chasing a mirror. We're just trying to get it sharp. So we're not going to really sharpen that much. Okay, that's it. So we'll take it out. And now I got a fresh towel. You can see all the sharpening dust and gunk and goobers, all that metal shavings. We're going to wipe it off with a chamois cloth. This is what I use. Okay, then put sharpener out of the way. 1 micron gunny juice strop, starting with this direction. We're just going to drag it on here. So that's good. Okay, and we're done. And then here's the test though. Sometimes edges aren't sharp. You never know. It's surprising sometimes. So it's taking strokes from a full edge, making sure it slices paper. There's no nicks, there's no nothing, there's no snags, there's no burr left on it, and this is done. And we got some marker on there I got to clean off. So before I send a knife back, I got to clean it off. Use a magic eraser, peel the Sharpie off. Somebody has recommended using dry erase markers for the edges. That's not a bad idea, because without a magic eraser, getting a Sharpie off can be a pain in the ass. You also really can cut yourself doing this. Beautiful. Rex 45 Shaman. Well, what's going on? Oh, what up, Jesus? Hello, Mr. Pipes. Thank you for joining me tonight. I'm just sitting here doing some sharpening I've been putting off. I just did the Shaman. See if I have to go back and fix anything. You know, I might come back into this tip off air a little bit more. Let's see what else we got to sharpen now. Got a Gale Bradley 2. Okay. Same thing. Thicker cloth. Put on the spine. Clamp it. Okay, and this one we're going to line up the tip and the heel so they're straight pretty much. We're going to see how the stone. So doing heels is the hardest part of sharpening for me. I'm pretty used to it, but still I can mess them up quickly. So right now on this Gale Bradley, it's not the same as a PM2 where it has a hard stop. This is kind of sloped, kind of like fades into the heel. So we got to find how we're going to end this and line up the stone so it hits where I need it to hit. So there we go. Line it up tip to heel is pretty much all we need to do. My Milwaukee permanent marker. Okay, take our 150 since we're profiling a factory edge. And check it at 17. It's a Tai Chung Spidey, but all the Spideys are the same for the most part. And adjust it up a smidge. 17 degrees. Stop collar hits where it's supposed to hit. Let's see what it looks like when we take the edge off. So we're hitting the front edge of the bevel only right now, which means it's too low of an angle. I'm going to flip it. On this side, we are also hitting the front edge of the bevel. So it means we need to bring the angle up a little bit, or down a little bit. So we're going to bring it down ½ degree or so. And see how that sharpens up a little bit better. Let's see what this angle is at right now. I think we're going to take it to 16 degrees. I feel like I've done this before on the Go Bradley. Okay, resharpie it. See if we're at the right angle now. Yeah, that's much closer to the right angle. Okay, 16 degrees it is. So line up our heel carefully. See where we're going to hit. Figure out where we want to stop. And sharpen away until you get all the Sharpie gone. So we're just lightly touching the heel, kind of trying to fade it in a little bit. I don't want it to be a big line because it's kind of a hard spot to stop it. So we're kind of good already. Okay, so the Sharpie's gone. We have a burr. Very good burr on the bottom of the edge. Flip it. Sharpen off the marker. So we have to get our tip. Our tip on the leading edge of the bevel on the flip side is too low. Very low angle, so we're going to have to work it a lot. Put my fingers under the tip. Keep the stone from rolling over. Check it out. Still a little bit more work to do, but we're going to flip it over again. See, we got a burr, good burr. Let's knock the burr down and then flip it back over. Okay, that side's done. Now this side we're just going to clean up and do the tip a little bit more. There we go. Tip's all cleaned up. Now we're just cleaning up scratch pattern, making the bevel look nice, all forward scratches. Okay, now we're done with that stone. Flip it over. Popping in the 400 Hapstone CBN. Make sure this hasn't moved in the clamp. See, it has a little bit. Okay. Burr removal is the name of the game. We're doing some clean of the scratches, but we're just trying to remove the burr. Remove the burr that we created from the previous stone. And these stones work so well, you don't even need that many passes to get them to look nice and clean. That's really all we need. Flipping it. Okay, and flip it. Last one we're going to do, we're going to do the 800 grit stone again. Now our burr is much smaller, but it's still there. So we're just trying to lightly polish. We're not going for a mirror. We just want everything to look nice and even with the strokes going the same direction. No dull spots in the blade. Like right here is a dull spot I'm looking at. I'm going to have to work it or go back down a stone. There you go. What is that? So it looks like we got a little blemish in the edge. I'm going to have to go back to the previous stone to get out. So we're putting back our 400 now. So I put the 800 on, shined it up, and it showed me that there was one spot that I didn't hit. So now I have to go back down a stone. Hopefully I can get up this stone. If not, I have to go back down 2 stones. Happens sometimes though. So we're just going to work that one spot. It's coming out just slowly. We have one spot. And it does not affect the cutting in any way. This is just me being anal about what my edges look like. Okay, it's out. There's one little dull spot in the middle of the bevel, and I can't leave that. It drives me nuts. Okay, back to 800. We're just going to do a quick polish on this bad mamma jamma. Oh yeah, then we're going to flip it once. Get the burr we just created from fixing the edge off. Do one more flip this side. And we're done. Take out a sharpener. Clean it off with this strop. We found our angle by, we were going to push into the edge. So we're at 16 degrees. So we're pushing into the stuff till it bites. That's the angle we're holding at, so it's flat. And what we're doing is lightly polishing the bevel. We're just trying to get to remove any excess burr or anything that's going to catch on the edge. That's the main goal, is to clean up any extra metal that will snag. Okay. All done. Clean off the junk. It's got some goobers on here. Using some gunny to clean off some crap that was on this blade with a magic eraser. It looks like some of that's patina. Okay, it must be patina. It says M4. Oop, cut myself a little bit. No. There we go. Let's see if it cuts. It cuts. So, I think that's about it. I just almost cut myself. That was fun. I'm going to go back on this one, actually. And I don't like how the finish at the tip is. So I'm going to go back and redo the tip on this one. It just doesn't look even enough for me. Other than that, we're done. So thank you all for joining me. That was a fun little impromptu session. And I will see you in the comment section later. Bye.